My name is Caroline Evans. I'd like to make 2 points, but first I would just like to say that my confidence in the Council's attitude is shaken by the fact that you've drawn your maps so that the blue and green dots represent existing trees and felled trees, and the red dots represent felling. Sorry, the red dots, they should represent felling, they actually represent new planting. This makes the new planting very, very conspicuous and the felling almost invisible.
Right, thank you.
The first point I'd like to make, the lady, Mrs. Oviatan, was saying that she'd chosen to plant so many of the same species of tree because the other trees were plagued with various forms of disease. Now, I'm sure that the botanist, a few rows in front of me, and many other people would agree with me that the simplest way to introduce new diseases is to plant a monoculture. If you plant many of the same sort of tree and miss out all the others, this is simply short-sighted. You'll simply get a new problem with the huge number of the same species of tree that you've planted. This leads me on to talking about the attitude to trees of the Council. Trees are living beings, and there is no excuse for cutting down a tree which is healthy for reasons of decor, decoration, or because the landscape won't look quite right to some kind of idea of aesthetics. Felling trees can only be defensible if there is some major problem with the individual tree, if it is unsafe to passers-by. Otherwise, you are treating trees like changing the carpet and the curtains, and that is no way to treat any living being. The final point which concerns me is that there is a lot of provision in these proposals for cutting down trees if they become diseased or unsafe, and I quote, "This particularly, I haven't had time to look through all these pieces of paper in detail, but this is particularly in Area J with all the cherry trees and the horse chestnuts in Victoria Avenue." Now, there seems to be a feeling abroad that to label a tree as diseased is completely unanswerable, that once somebody has slapped a label on that tree which says diseased, then the tree has to come down. And this, I think, needs to be challenged. Many diseased trees can recover. Diseased trees can recover, and in so doing can develop an immunity to disease, which is surely what we're after. Diseased trees can be very minorly diseased and continue happily for 100 years more. The only reason for felling a diseased tree is that it is actually posing a danger to passers-by. I can give you many examples of trees around the city which have been chopped down because they were called diseased. And as far as I'm concerned, there was nothing wrong with those trees and no need to kill them. I think you can hear from the floor that I'm not the only one who feels so. Diseased trees deserve to stay. We don't need a monoculture of a tree that happens to have no problems at the moment. We need a properly balanced number of trees of all native species which can be left quietly to manage their own concerns, develop their own immunities, and not be chopped down because of minor diseases or indeed because of somebody's ideas of what's going to look fashionable in the landscape. Trees are living beings and deserve consideration. Thank you.